Most people don't fail because they lack information. They're not failing because they don't know that vegetables are good for them, or that sleep matters, or even that stress is slowly destroying their body and making them make incredibly poor decisions on a day-to-day basis. People largely fail for psychological reasons. Hidden ones they've not named yet or are avoiding to name, because it is in the naming that difficulty arises, but is also where the answers lie. I hope you like that intro. That was a little bit philosophical. I'm feeling very Socratesian. That's a word. Socrates being the ancient Roman or Stoic philosopher. Today, I want to delve into three main psychological barriers that people face. And if they don't overcome, it makes it almost impossible for them to achieve the goal that they want, regardless of what that goal is, whether that is in their health, fitness, and wellness, whether that is in business, in relationships, building relationships with their partner, deeper relationships, or understanding with their children. It all matters. Einstein reportedly said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I see this every single week. People who want a different body, a different energy, to change their blood work, improve their subjective health markers, improve their relationship with their partner. Many different conversations or facets of conversations all result in the same thing. They want the result without the standard. That's not a plan. That's a wish. They are wishing for something to happen, fingers crossed, looking out of the window, trying to find a shooting star without actually wanting to change anything. Quick story. I had a consultation with a guy many moons ago, but I remember it distinctly. Mid-40s, successful, sharp guy, did something in law. Can't remember the exact type of law that he did, but it was something very fucking complex and technical. And he told me he had tried everything, as most people do when they come for a consultation. I've tried it all before. I've tried personal trainers. I've had business coaches. I've had meal plans, programs, but nothing stuck. And within about 10 minutes, I realized the problem. It had absolutely nothing to do with what he had mentioned, which is generally the case. But this guy wasn't willing to go to bed before 1 a.m. He was adamant that he had to stay up till 1 a.m. working because he was a night owl. He also had to get up at 5 a.m. because he had very young kids that did not sleep well, and he had to get things sorted for them before they woke up, and then he had to hit the gym before work and then go to work. He wasn't willing to also stop drinking on weekends. And that largely is down to lack of sleep and wanting some kind of happy endorphin hit from alcohol to numb pain, which we figured out that was a large part of it. He wasn't willing to prep his food on Sundays. He wanted everything, but was willing to give up nothing, which is, I'm hoping, hitting home with a lot of people. And this is the God's honest truth. This is taking a look at yourself and saying, you know what, I want all these things, but how much am I willing to sacrifice? How much am I willing to suffer? Because at some point, there's going to be sacrifice. There's going to be suffering. And that suffering is very subjective. It's, I want to have the glass of wine with dinner. But my new plan states that I can't. The new identity that I am trying to chase, that I'm trying to achieve, states that I can't have the glass of wine. That's a sacrifice I'm not willing to make. I'm like, well, cool. Well, don't bitch about it. Don't bitch and complain about the result that you haven't achieved because of the work you aren't willing to put in. And here's the honest version of this. The honest version is that you don't have a knowledge problem. You have a standards problem. You're not an idiot. Just by listening to this podcast shows me, hey, this person wants to improve 1%. And being the whole point of this podcast is just improving 1%. Ideally, we want to get to the top of that pyramid, right? We want to be really successful. And that's very, very independent. Some people want $1 million. Some people want 100 grand. But the success or the striving for success is the same. Your current standard, the minimum that you accept from yourself, is producing the current results. That is it. That's as complex as it is. Your standard to not want to meal prep, your standard not wanting to go to bed on time, your standard not wanting to give up alcohol, your standard not wanting to go in the gym, your standard not wanting to train hard. All of these standards are the very reason and the fundamental reason as to why you can't achieve the result that you want. So you've got two choices. Either You accept it and go, okay, I'm not willing to change. So therefore, I am willing to stay the same forever. And I have to accept that. I'm not happy about it, but if I'm not willing to put in the effort, I don't deserve the result. Or you make a change. And that doesn't mean changing everything. That doesn't mean changing everything all at once. But what it does mean is stepping up, raising your standard, looking at the people around you that rely on you, looking at friends, family, even your children, and saying, is this the person that I want them to see? Is this the person that I want them to be proud of? Am I making them proud? Am I making myself proud? If you're not, then something must change. So stop blaming the program. Start asking what your standard actually is and what you are willing to hold yourself accountable to. So what do we do here? A couple of different things. Write down your current standard in 3 different areas: in your health, in your relationship, and in your finances. Those 3 kind of cover a lot of life. Writing your standards down for those 3. What do I expect of myself in these areas currently? What am I actually doing? What is my actual standard right now? And then what I want you to do is to project 10% higher, just 10%, nothing crazy. The hard thing about projecting too much, like we look at athletes, for example, I am where I am now. I can barely walk up the stairs without feeling out of breath. I'm obese, got terrible blood work. I want to be the next LeBron James. So that ain't going to happen, dude. Or do that. But what you can do is just improve 10%. Go, cool. What does that next 10% look like? And then every single day for the next 7 days, that's it. Just hold yourself to that standard. You may fail a couple of times. That's cool. But just keep striving for that standard. Get as close as you can. And it's likely you're going to improve by 1%. That's why I like the 1% rule. And if you improve by just 1%, done over time, you start to increasingly and incrementally get better. The second reason I see people fail is that they are choosing now over later every single time. There's a concept in behavioral economics called present bias. It is the deep human tendency to overvalue what's in front of you and massively undervalue what's coming in the future. Your future self, the version of you who gets the blood work done, loses the weight, has the energy, feels like a complete stranger. And you don't make sacrifices for strangers. You don't know what that feels like. So it's really hard to be able to go, I want this great thing. I want to feel this particular way. But because you've never done it before, it's really difficult for some people to be able to sacrifice now for that person. Because you know, if I go eat that cookie, that's going to taste fucking amazing, guaranteed. But I can't project, if I don't eat this cookie in 12 months' time, I'm going to feel and look very, very different. Think about it. Sunday evening, you're sat there thinking, right, Monday, let's go. New week, new me. I'm going to train, prep my food, get to sleep by 10 p.m. And you genuinely mean it in that moment. You're like, yes, let's fucking go. But Monday rolls around. You're tired. Oh shit, there's a dinner at work. Oh, kids are loud, pissing me off. And suddenly the version of you that made that plan on a Sunday feels like someone else. You're like, oh, it's a bit easier right now that I just scrap everything. And maybe I start when it's a bit quieter. Maybe this is not the right time to be able to do that. And in a neurological sense, it's the battle between the present you and the future you. They're constantly in competition with each other. The present you is trying to stay present. It's like, I'm running this shit. This is my identity. This is the person I want to be. But the future you is like, no, you deserve better. I know you want more. Let's fight for that. If you've ever told yourself that you'll start Monday or things will calm down and then you'll sort this out, it's not laziness. It's biology. You're wired to prioritize the immediate. The discomfort of the gym today is real and valid. It's like, fuck, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna be hard. I don't want to go do that. People might be watching me. I'm already tired, fatigued after a long day at work. The benefits of training for a year, the better your blood work, the better testosterone levels are, the decade added to your life is something to contemplate. Your brain basically picks the thing that's going to make it feel the best in the shortest amount of time. because again, that's what we're wired to be able to do. But it's on you to fight back. So what do? Stop setting result-based goals. Have an end goal in mind. Let's say, you want to lose 20 pounds. That's the goal in mind. What you need to focus on, however, is the daily processes. It's not losing 20 pounds. It's I need to eat clean today. I need to follow my meal plan. I need to weigh out my food. I need to go and do some kind of activity, whether that is cardio, working out, steps. I need to get to bed at a reasonable time. I need to drink X liters of water. Make the cost of not doing it visible. Tell someone, log it, create a consequence. One thing that I did is for my last photo shoot is that I booked it 9 months in advance. And I said, I'm going to give myself 9 months to lose this. I lost 66 pounds all up. And I booked the photo shoot, paid for it. I went, yeah, let's go. Let's do this. I made sure that it was all locked in and I documented everything on social media. And now I'm on social media. Of course, you've got these podcasts and other things, but I don't love it. It's not like the thing that brings me happiness and joy, but it is the vehicle that allows me to be able to share a message and help as many people as possible. So this is why I do it. But it allowed me to be able to be accountable to the people that were watching me. And I knew there was people watching me, friends, family, just people in the gym that I worked at. I knew they were commenting constantly. Oh, I saw your post. Oh, geez, you're looking good. Or, hey, how long's your photo shoot away? All these sort of things. If you keep your consequences high, you are more likely to stick to it. And stack the reward on top of the habit. That's a James Clear thing in the topic habits. It's habit stacking. You get to listen to your favorite podcast whilst you're going for a walk. You get to watch your favorite movie or TV show that you're engrossing right now whilst you're doing cardio. You get to listen to an audiobook while you're doing your meal prep. Try and stack the things that bring you pleasure alongside the things that you know you have to do. And lastly, the third point here, you do not believe that you are the kind of person who does these types of things. You don't believe it. And this is one of the most challenging ones. This is the one that people don't talk about a lot. You can have the best program in the world, the clearest goal, the most expensive coach. And if deep down, if you don't actually believe that you are the person that follows through on this stuff, none of it will work, because that's the identity shift. Identity is upstream of behavior, not the other way around. You don't decide that you are someone and then achieve the behaviors. You act your way into becoming that person. Who you believe determines what you do. Who you believe that you are determines what you do. You have to have this ingrained, like, I can do this. I know who I'm becoming. What would that person do? I've worked with people that have been told their entire lives by partners, by the reinforcement of failed diets, by their own history, that they're just not the sporty type, that they're just not the healthy type. Oh, that's just not you, is it? Oh, I really want to go away this holiday and not drink. That's just not you though, is it? Or I've always just been big. I'm just a heavier set guy. Well, my friend, bones don't jiggle. So the heavier set, we can fucking throw aside right now. Accepting that it's just who you are. This is just how I am. And then yet they come to me wanting change, or to any coach. I want to change. I've held on to this identity for so long that I don't know what to do next. And the thing is, you can't out-train this self-concept. You can't out-train this version that you fully believe that you are. Think about it this way. When was the last time you turned down the dessert? When was the last time you turned down a glass of wine or a beer? Really think about it. You probably didn't do it as a kind of an elaborate cost of benefit analysis. You just grabbed it or you didn't. And that was largely how you saw yourself in the moment. James Clear talks about in his book, Atomic Habits, about smokers. Like, if you talk to a smoker and offer him a cigarette, it's an immediate no. So why don't you want one? He's like, I'm just not a smoker. But if you offer someone that occasionally smokes, it's like, oh, I don't know if I am or I am. Let's see how I feel in the moment. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Depending on what social situation, you probably do. And then likewise, if you ask someone who identifies as a smoker, they're always going to say yes. Yeah, of course I'm going to take a cigarette. The person who says, I don't eat that kind of stuff, or I don't accept that cigarette, isn't using inherently more willpower than you. They've just built a different identity. The habits that they enact upon every day, the behavioral change, the choices that they make every day reinforces the person that they want to become. And that takes time. And that is difficult to do. So how do we do that? Firstly, identity statement. This might seem a little woo-woo, but it really does work. And it's nothing crazy. It's literally just writing a statement of the person you want to become. Not the goal, but something such as, I am someone who trains consistently. I am someone who goes to bed at 10 p.m. every day. I am a non-drinker. I am, insert whatever you need to insert. This starts to reinforce the identity. And they know that every action is a vote for or against that identity. Now, that's either going to be, I am someone who trains consistently and I actually went and did my training session. Or I am someone who trains consistently is the identity or the statement, and you don't go and do that session. What matters is the doing or not doing of the behavior. And what you'll find is that the more that you do that behavior, the easier it becomes over time. It becomes so fucking easy, but you have to be willing to do the upfront work. So I hope that lands. These are the three main psychological reasons that I have found why people don't get results, and none of them are about finding the right diet. They won't raise. People don't achieve the things that they want for these reasons. A, they don't raise their standards, so the results stay the same. Two, they keep choosing now over later. So every single day, every single month, every single year, they just end up staying the same. Everything in terms of life and time and experiences all pass and nothing's changed. You look back over the last 12 months, 24 months of your life, what's changed? And three, they don't believe it. At an identity level, they are the kind of person who just does these things. So their habits keep voting for the old version. This isn't a fix, a new program. It is simply about raising your standard immediately. Use whatever reinforcement you need to, whether it's your family, your kids, whatever that why is. Make sure that the standard that you enact upon has consequences. If I don't, then here's the consequence. There needs to be a downside, otherwise you'll just keep doing it. And that consequence could be something as simple as donating to a charity you don't agree with. Tim Ferriss spoke about this a long time ago. It's like there was like a Nazi fund or something that a friend told him about. It's like, if I don't achieve this goal, then I have to donate to that, versus donating for the animal shelter or something. I think the opposing charity was. Might sound silly, but those things really do matter. And that's where things like posting things on social media, just stories, just saying, hey, look, here's what I'm doing. I'm using this to keep myself accountable. It's got nothing to do with anyone else. But I know if I put it out to the world, then I'm doing it. Or even just telling a friend about it, keeping a friend updated, keeping a friend's group in a WhatsApp group or a family group updated. Those things really help. So I hope all that hit home. What I'd love to ask you guys is to rate the podcast. This really does help me grow, be seen in this world of constant attention hijacking. And I want to be able to grow this thing. I want to be able to bring on bigger guests and consistent guests. And it helps the podcast get reach. So do that for me if you're enjoying it. All the research today is in the bio below. If this landed, send it to a person. Send it to one person that you know that you feel can make a contribution to their health, wellness, and happiness.